Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.
Hello, my name is Mary Campbell, legal assistant at the law firm of Figueroa and Associates, and your presenter with this week's immigration news. We begin with Feds collected DNA from 1.5 million migrants in less than 4 years. Report finds since 2020, federal authorities have dramatically increased the routine collection of immigrants' DNA, leading to a 50-fold increase in the number of samples in the National Database of Sensitive Genetic Information, according to a report released Tuesday. According to the Georgetown Law Center on Privacy and Technology, over nearly 4 years, the DNA database, which is accessible to law enforcement agencies nationwide, has added over 1.5 million non-citizen profiles. In comparison, only about 30,000 samples had been collected between 2005, when Congress authorized DNA collection by federal immigration authorities, and 2020. The center expressed concerns that this sharp rise may infringe on immigrants' privacy rights and questioned the program's overall constitutionality. According to the report, DNA samples are taken by immigration agents without any of the procedural rules that police are supposed to follow before they can take a person's DNA. Government's move to terminate Flores agreement could leave immigrant children unprotected. The Department of Justice asked a court to partially terminate the decades-old agreement that protects the rights of immigrant children earlier this month. The government argues that the Flores settlement agreement is no longer needed because a new Department of Health and Human Services regulation, finalized on April 30, will provide sufficient protections to immigrant children in HHS care. Advocates fear that the end of the agreement and decades of oversight by Flores Council could put children in danger. Because the new rule only applies to HHS, the government only seeks to terminate the parts of the agreement that relate to children in HHS custody. Meanwhile, in New York, chants of Build the Wall at Trump rally in the Bronx. In a surprising display of support, former President Donald Trump held a rally in the Bronx yesterday, where attendees passionately chanted Build the Wall. The rally, part of Trump's ongoing campaign efforts, drew a diverse crowd, showcasing the former president's continued influence across different demographics. Trump reiterated his commitment to strengthening border security, a central theme of his previous campaigns. The chants of Build the Wall echoed throughout the event, emphasizing the supporters' alignment with Trump's hardline immigration policies. Despite the Bronx traditionally being a Democratic stronghold, the rally highlighted pockets of strong support for Trump's agenda. Critics, however, argue that such rhetoric fosters division and neglects the complexities of immigration issues. As the 2024 election approaches, events like this rally underscore the polarizing nature of Trump's influence and the persistent debates over immigration policy in America. Advocates urge Washington to prioritize humane immigration solutions over failed border bill. On Thursday, May 23, the Senate held a procedural vote and failed to meet the 60 votes required to pass the bipartisan border security legislation, the Border Act. This legislation had previously been blocked by Republicans in February due to influence from former President Donald Trump. The proposed legislation would have authorized temporary closures of the border to people seeking safety, further restricted fair and meaningful access to asylum, and fast-tracked the process to deport people asking for asylum at the border without due process, among other measures. Murad Awadeh, President and CEO, New York Immigration Coalition. The failed border bill was an unnecessary effort to normalize deterrence-based measures instead of practical solutions proven to work. The choice is simple. the Senate can put on the table real proposals that actually maintain access to asylum and advance humane and orderly border management, or keep up a charade designed only to score cheap political points at the expense of vulnerable people seeking safety. In other news, delays in DACA renewals have catastrophic consequences. As if it were not enough to be in suspense over the future of DACA in the courts, potentially the Supreme Court, or the possibility that Donald Trump, who intends to erase the program, could win the presidency in November, Dreamers face severe delays in the renewal of their work permits, and many have lost their jobs. Many causes have been named for the lag by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, among them technical glitches, a shortage of staff, and the fact that the agency might be giving priority to recently arrived migrants seeking asylum and TPS beneficiaries. Whatever the cause may be, the delays adversely affect those who benefited from the program that on June 15 will celebrate 12 years of existence after being initiated by President Barack Obama. DACA is the acronym of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which extends deportation protection to some 600,000 young people, and work permits that are renewable every 2 years. And finally, now is Texas copycat immigration law challenged in court. DAWA is following in the footsteps of Texas with a new law that would allow state officials to arrest, detain, and remove non-citizens who have re-entered the United States after being deported, even if the person returned with permission from the federal government or later gained lawful immigration status. Just like Texas Senate Bill 4, SB 4. However, this new DAWA immigration enforcement law has been challenged in court.
Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For a consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.